They still talk about that night in Umuagu, the night the forest turned against them. The elders say it began on a market day, when the sun sat heavy in the sky and the air was thick with unease. Mama Nwosu, the oldest woman in the village, called the youth together and warned them not to hold the gathering that night. "Don't do it," she said, her eyes stern with warning. "The spirits are restless. Don't tempt them." But the young ones laughed and teased her, calling her an old woman afraid of the dark. They went ahead with their plans, setting up the drums and lanterns in the village square. As the moon rose, Ekwensu watched from the shadows, his eyes gleaming with mischief. He took on the form of a charming stranger, dressed in fine clothes, and made his way to the gathering. The three girls, Uche, Amarachi, and Nnenna, were captivated by the stranger's charm. He danced with them, spun them around, and whispered secrets in their ears. As the night wore on, the girls began to feel disoriented. When the music stopped and the villagers began to disperse, the girls bid the stranger farewell, eager to head home. But as they stepped into the darkness, they found themselves lost in the forest. They walked for hours, or so they thought, but the trees seemed to be leading them in circles. The girls laughed and joked, thinking they were just taking a longer route home. But as the night wore on, the forest grew darker, and the trees seemed to close in around them. Uche stumbled, and Amarachi caught her arm. "Wait, let's rest for a bit," she said, looking around, but Nnenna pulled them forward. "Come on, I think I see the path home." The girls walked some more, but the path seemed to vanish, and they were back at the same clearing. They began to feel a creeping sense of unease as Ekwensu's laughter echoed in their minds, making them doubt their own senses. As the night wore on, the girls became trapped in the forest, circling the same path, unable to find their way back home. Their footsteps were the only sound, a steady beat that seemed to match the rhythm of Ekwensu's laughter. By morning, the villagers had begun to search for the girls, but they were nowhere to be found. Only Mama Nwosu knew what had happened. She sat in her chair, her eyes dry and empty, her lips moving in a silent prayer. The villagers searched for days, but the girls never came back. Some say they're still walking, lost in the forest, trapped in Ekwensu's maze. Others say they're lucky, that they escaped with their lives and are living in the city now, never speaking of that night again. But on quiet nights, when the wind stirs the trees, you can still hear the sound of footsteps, circling, searching. And if you listen closely, you might hear Ekwensu's laughter echoing through the forest, reminding you of the night the forest turned against them.